What if I told you that one of the most powerful life lessons I've ever heard came from an 11-year-old Will Smith, long before the fame, the music, or the movies? A story so simple, yet so profound, that it could completely change how you see success, work, and even failure. Stay with me till the end, because the fourth lesson might just shift how you live your life forever. Over a decade ago, I stumbled across a story from Will Smith that has stayed in my mind ever since. It wasn't about Hollywood, awards, or red carpets. It was about hard work, perseverance, and the power of human will. You see, Will, the kid from Philadelphia who grew up to become one of the most charismatic and driven people on the planet, recently released his memoir, simply titled Will. But that title isn't just his name. It's a statement. It's the very essence of who he is, a man whose greatest strength has always been his relentless determination. He once said in an interview, "If you and I get on a treadmill together, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're getting off first, or I'm going to die on that treadmill." That's not ego, that's willpower. The unshakable belief that you can achieve anything if you just keep going. And this mindset began long before the fame. It started when Will Smith was just 11 years old. The story begins outside his father's shop in Philadelphia. One day, Will's father told him and his younger brother to build a wall, a huge, heavy brick wall, right in front of the store. No machines, no help, just two kids and a pile of bricks. For almost a year, they worked on it, day after day. And when they finally finished, their father stood proudly beside them, looked at the wall, and said, "Now, don't y'all ever tell me there's something you can't do." Powerful words, right? But here's the thing. The real lesson wasn't about finishing the wall. It was about everything that happened while they were building it. Over the years, I've thought about that story countless times, and each time, it teaches me something new. The first lesson is this: you don't set out to build a wall. Imagine being an 11-year-old told to build a massive wall. It sounds impossible, right? That's exactly how Will and his brother felt. And honestly, that's how most of us feel when we face big goals. Losing weight, starting a business, writing a book, changing our lives. The vision feels too big. The finish line feels too far away. So we freeze. We procrastinate. We give up before we even begin. But here's the truth. The only guaranteed way to fail is never to start. You can't build a wall overnight, but you can lay one brick. Focus on that first step, that one small action you can take today. Start where you are with what you have, because once you place that first brick, the rest slowly begins to fall into place. The second lesson is that every wall is made of many bricks. Every massive goal you dream of is nothing more than a collection of small, achievable steps. There was a day during construction when Will and his brother were in what he called a particularly stank mood. They were tired, frustrated, and convinced the wall would never get done. That's when their father overheard them and stepped in with one of the most powerful lessons ever spoken. He said, "Stop thinking about the damn wall. There is no wall. There are only bricks. Your job is to lay this one brick perfectly, then move on to the next, and then the next. That's it. That's the formula for success. Stop obsessing over the big picture and master the small one." The third lesson is to lay each brick perfectly. Everything you do in life is a reflection of who you are. Every task, no matter how small, is an opportunity to express your character. When you rush or cut corners, it shows. But when you give your best, when you lay each brick with care and precision, the result is not just a wall. It's a masterpiece built from integrity, effort, and pride. So whatever you're doing right now, studying, building, creating, give it your full attention, because your work is a mirror of your soul. And the final lesson is to find the bricks you want to lay. The most profound truth of all is that there is no wall. Life isn't about some grand finish line. It's about the process, the daily act of laying one brick at a time. Your purpose isn't just the big goal at the end. It's the joy, growth, and meaning you find in the work itself. So choose your bricks wisely. Pick something that excites you, something you can wake up and love doing every single day. Because happiness doesn't come from completing the wall. It comes from enjoying the act of building it. Will Smith's story about building a wall isn't really about construction. It's about life. It's about patience, persistence, and the power of the human will. So, the next time you face something that feels too big to handle, remember this. Don't focus on the wall. Just lay your next brick. Perfectly, purposefully, and with pride. Because one day, you'll look back and realize you've built something incredible. Not just a wall, but a life worth living.